Hey, church family. The last couple of devotionals I've shared with you have been on the subject of prayer. I want to continue that today as we look at what happens when God's people don't pray. And to introduce that question, I want to share with you one of my favorite Bible promises. It's found in Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. And it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." That promise looks to be pretty straightforward. Trust God completely, put Him first in all you do, include Him in every decision, and He'll provide you with the direction and the guidance that you need along the way of life. What could be clearer? And yet, do we do that? No, at least not often enough. And there's a tragic example of the problem of prayerlessness that's recorded for us in Joshua chapter 9. There we're told about a time when Joshua was leading the Israelites into the promised land, the land that God had given to them. And Joshua and his men were fighting battle after battle and achieving victory after victory. Some of the people in that land, a people called the Gibeonites, realized how successful Joshua and his men were being in battle. They knew that there was no way that they could stand up against them in traditional warfare, so they set about to perpetrate a deception that began with a masquerade. They dressed up in worn-out clothes. They put worn-out sandals on their feet, worn-out sacks on their donkeys, and worn-out wineskins in their sacks. The lunches they packed as part of this deception didn't consist of bread that was fresh from the oven, but rather bread that was old and dry and crumbled. And then they traveled to meet Joshua. Upon meeting him, they said, "We've traveled a long, long way from a far, far away country, and we want you to make a treaty with us, promising us that as you conquer this land, you won't cross over into our land and attack us, because we've heard of the power of your God and how He's given all this land into your hands." Joshua asked them, "How do we really know that what you're telling us is true? How do we know that you've come from a far, far off country? Maybe you're living right here in this land and you're trying to trick us into making a treaty with you." And the Gibeonites said to Joshua, "Hey, check us out for yourself." The Gibeonites told Joshua, "The bread that we've got here in our packs, it was fresh from the oven when we packed it. Look at it now. It's old and dry and crumbled. These wineskins we're carrying were brand new when we filled them. Look at them now. They're split open. And the clothes and the sandals we're wearing, they've still got the tags on them somewhere. We just got them at TJ Maxx before we left home, but now they're worn out from the very long journey. Joshua, check all this out for yourself. Use the common sense that God has given you. Lean on your own understanding and make your own decision." And that's exactly what Joshua and his men did. Joshua 9 verses 14 to 15 tell us, "So the Israelites examined their food, but they did not consult the Lord." They did not consult the Lord. Then Joshua made a peace treaty with them and guaranteed their safety, and the leaders of the community ratified their agreement with a binding oath. Joshua and his people were deceived by their enemies. Why? Because they knew it was important to look to God on what they regarded to be the really, really big challenges they faced. But when it came to the smaller stuff, well, they could just lean on their own understanding. Not a good idea. Not good for Joshua, not good for you and me. I pray that God would be teaching us to be people who trust in the Lord with all our heart, people who do not lean on our own understanding, people who in all our ways acknowledge Him and count on Him to make our paths straight. Amen.